Welcome back to me, because I just came back from vacation. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever, but it's actually only been a week. Anyway, I am so excited to do a video for you guys today because I just feel like I've been out of the loop. I had a really great, refreshing time away. I unplugged from social media and just kind of like wasn't on my phone at all, and it was really nice and refreshing, but it's nice to be back. So I am going to tell you all about my thrifty vacation and try to give some tips today on what you can do to have a thrifty vacation too. So I have just a few tips that I want to share. So if you are curious about that, then stay tuned. My first disclaimer is, you see this back here? It was the probably most hectic week of my life the week before we left. So we were gone for 9 days. We were finishing up school, and we had 2 birthdays within 10 days and a piano recital, and I feel like there was something else, and my daughter worked a couple times. Anyway, it was super hectic. So the school table behind us is a picture of what life was like before we left. So we were like totally ready for this, but we just got back super late Tuesday night. Today's Thursday, so I've only had 1 day in between trying to unpack and everything. So this is just a mess, so excuse it, sorry. But let's talk about how to have a thrifty vacation. So let me fill you in a little bit on our trip. And the reason I wanted to make sure I do this video right away is because I had this plan to do this kind of video 2 years ago. My family took a trip out west. We live in Ohio, and we went all the way to California, like hit lots of different states here and there and and came all the way around. I can't remember how many states it was. I feel like it was somewhere around 15 to 17 states. And I was like, I'm gonna do this video. I had filmed a ton of footage. Anyway, we got back, life was crazy, and I never got around to it. It was one of those things I'm like, I'll do that when I have time. Well, I never had time. 2 years later, we have now finally taken another vacation. I've shared with you guys a little teeny tiny bit about my childhood. We didn't have much money growing up, so we didn't do vacations. I think one time when I was teeny tiny, we went to Alabama because that's where my dad was from, and we took a trip there, but I barely remember. I know there was a store that was shaped like a guitar, and I went in, I scraped my knee, and I have a big scar on my knee from it, and that's all I remember from that vacation. Besides that, we went camping on my birthday once a year, and it usually rained, and that's it. That's all I really remember from family vacations. I've never been to Disney World, Disneyland, anything spectacular. We just didn't have a lot of money. So anyway, my husband and I, when we got married, we bought a timeshare. Actually, before we got married, we're engaged. And my husband was he's always been very responsible. He's not impulsive. I'm impulsive. I'm like majorly impulsive, but I'm super impulsive. He is not, so he's always kept it balanced. We went and heard this whole spiel, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it sounded amazing. And we're like, we're engaged. We're gonna be going to hopefully have a fabulous honeymoon soon. And this would pay for a honeymoon. So long story short, we bought a timeshare, which part of me would say, don't do it. And part of me would be like, that's what allowed us to go on all these vacations over the years. I'm telling you that because ever since we got married, we've actually gone on vacation every single year up until recently. We've gone on vacation every single year because we have this timeshare. So we're able to go places all over the US Actually, we went to Cancun for a honeymoon for 2 weeks, and it was this all-inclusive vacation, and I don't remember how much it cost, but it was a really good deal for what it was. So if you ever have an opportunity to get a timeshare, it is great. It is amazing. The one that we have is like $3.99. Like you can go somewhere for an entire week for $3.99 for the entire week. Like we could go to Florida for $3.99 a week. Well, that's insane because most places are going to be, you know, at least what, $150 a night. So $3.99 is amazing. I'm just saying, coming from a family who, growing up, we had no money, we didn't vacation, to my husband and I vacationing every single year for 15 years or so. We didn't do that because we're loaded and have a lot of money. We did it because we had this timeshare and it was a super good deal. So that was that. Now, the last 2 vacations we've gone on, we actually didn't use the timeshare because the dates didn't line up and whatever, so it didn't work. But now there is this cool thing called Airbnb and Vrbo, and you can find good deals. So the last 2 trips, the last trip across the US and the one that we took last week, which was Hilton Head, we did 4 days in Hilton Head and we did 5 days in North Myrtle Beach. And those were just staying at like a Vrbo Airbnb place. I still have a couple tips to help you save money if you don't have a timeshare and if you are trying to figure out how can we go on this trip and not spend our life savings. So my first tip is go with someone else, like your family and another family. That is what we've done. Actually, we have done 4 trips, I think, over in the last 6 years. We've done 4 trips. One was with my in-laws, who I get along with really well. That's a bonus. Obviously, if you don't get along with them, you may not want to go on vacation with them and be stuck with them in a car for 10 to 12 hours and be stuck in a house for that long and all that. We get along really well. I love them. They're wonderful. So we went with my in-laws, which is my husband's dad, mom, and his brother who still lives at home. He's Down syndrome. Awesome brother-in-law. So all 3 of them went with us a couple years ago to Myrtle Beach. And then the next year, we actually took friends. So the cool part, why I'm telling you this, is because you can split the cost. So I think those 2 times, we were able to use our timeshare, and let's say we got a unit for $3.99 and then we were able to get another unit for $3.99. So we both had our own like house, but they were like on top of each other or next to each other or whatever. $3.99 a piece, we pay for one, they pay for the other, or split it in half, whatever. That is huge. So, and there were times where we went with his parents, and if you get a place big enough, you can stay in the same house. So then you're $3.99, or, even if you stay somewhere it's $1,000, they pay $500, you pay $500. So if you have someone that you can get along with, definitely vacation with friends or with family or whoever. So this other time that we went, we had a unit, which was like, we had like a condo and they had a condo, and I think they were above us and we were below them or something like that. Well, it was 2 of our really good friends at church and their 5 kids, and then us 2 and our 4 kids. The kids had a blast together. We had such a wonderful time hanging out with them. So that was super fun. So if you have a friendship with someone that you think you could actually handle going on vacation with, I would not go on vacation with all of my friends. Like, it's got to be a special family that's not going to annoy me and not going to drive me crazy, and who I love their kids and they don't annoy me and all that stuff. You've all got to be able to get along. But that is a huge way to save money, is going with someone else, splitting the cost of the place you're going to stay at, the Airbnb or whatever it is you choose to stay at. Also, gas. So our gas for this trip to go down to South Carolina, I actually don't know what the total ended up being, but whatever it was, my mother-in-law kept track, and sometimes we'd pay, sometimes they'd pay. But in the end, they wrote it all down, and we're just going to make sure we paid half and they paid half. So, if we'd gone with just my husband and I and my kids, whatever that cost of gas would be, we would have paid by ourselves, but instead we went with them and we just split the cost. It's huge. I think it really helps. Like our trip out west, we did the same exact thing. That was really great. That was a really long trip, so it was nice to have another driver. That's the one where I ended up breaking my foot. Oh my word. Anyway, that was super dumb. One day I will get my act together and I'll share with you guys a video about that trip, because it was wonderful and so frustrating because 8 days into this 21-day trip, I broke my ankle. If I can find the picture, I'll put it right here. That's how I felt. But I was very grateful to have my sister-in-law there with us for that part of the trip since I couldn't drive for a little bit, but then I was able to drive on the way home, so it's fine. So bring family, bring people that you can get along with and split the cost. And then you both get vacations. You can still do your own thing. Like there were times when we went with our friends that like they might stay back and hang out at the condo while we went out to eat. Maybe they didn't want to go spend the money to go out to eat to this place, so they'd stay home. Or maybe we didn't want to go to the beach one day and they wanted to go to the beach. Like you don't have to be together the whole time, but it's still huge and it's so fun. That's one of our favorite trips was going with this other family. It was so awesome. The next tip that I have is food. I learned this on our trip out west. That was the most shocking and the most expensive part of the trip. I mean, I guess the Airbnbs were probably like, once you add all those up for 21 days, that was more expensive than food, but the food was a lot. Like I am thrifty. So when we go out to eat, we don't order like, oh, I'll have a number 8, or whatever. No, we don't do that. We order off the dollar menu. Well, guess what? Not all states are created equal. I did not know that. I assumed, if you can go to like Wendy's and get I think at the time it was a $4 biggie bag or whatever they call those things. Like, cool, we can all eat for $24 and we'll just have that for lunch here and there and whatever. And when the first Wendy's, I think it was, we went to, it was like, oh, they don't have any deals. Like they have, I think we're in, I can't remember if we're in Kansas or, I don't know. We're somewhere in a state we hadn't been in and they had no deals, like no deals. So we walked out of there spending like $50 and everybody was still hungry. That was really sad. And that's when I realized this is not good. We're gonna waste so much money eating. And I am someone, I think, let me know if you guys are like this too. I'm, as a mom who cooks, my kids are pretty much on their own for breakfast, I'll be totally honest. I've never been a big breakfast fan, so everybody kind of does their own thing with breakfast for the most part. But I cook lunch every day. I cook dinner every day. I make sure there's snacks. I make sure, whatever. So when we go on vacation, I'm ready to eat out. I'm ready to, not cook and not prepare things. And I don't want a bologna sandwich on the road and I don't want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the road. So I was just like, no, I want to eat out on the way there because, I don't want to cook and I don't want to, eat out of a sandwich bag on the way there. So that was my plan. Well, it was just so expensive. It was so expensive and I was so frustrated. So here's the tip. The tip is Sam's Club. So I don't know if you guys have a membership to Sam's Club or Costco or BJ's or whatever. Get one. You need to get one before you go on a trip like this, because that was huge. So that's what we did this time. We didn't bring, we brought a little bit of food. Like I went to our Bent Dent store. If you don't know much about our Bent Dent store, I did a video recently, I'll put it above, that I showed you guys inside of our Bent Dent and what it is, because I know some people are confused about it, but super, super discounted food. So we went there and I got snacky stuff and I started trying to eat healthy before this trip. So I didn't want to have a bunch of junk. We didn't buy 10 packs of Oreos and a ton of candy bars, stuff like that. So we tried to get healthy stuff. Before we left, we made some granola bars, homemade, and we had these really amazing date bars. I bought pitted dates, cut them in half, and laid them all down on parchment paper, melted some peanut butter, poured that on top, melted some dark chocolate, poured that on top, sprinkled it with a little bit of salt, froze it, and then cut them into bars. And they were these amazing and healthy little candy bars. So we had those on the trip too. So that was all we had with us. We didn't buy a bunch of groceries because it was a 10 to 12 hour trip, depending on how many bathroom breaks we took. This is what we did. Once we got there, the next day, we that night, we had eaten out that day, and then we get there that night to our Airbnb. The next day, we went to a Sam's Club. We made sure, we knew where one was near where we were staying. We went there and we got all the stuff. And another way that we do this when I go with my in-laws is a lot of times it'll be okay, you plan, we were at this one at Hilton Head for 4 days. So it's okay, we're probably gonna eat out once, but we're not sure which day we'll do that. So you plan 2 meals, I'll plan 2 meals. And then whatever we don't use, we'll bring to our next place, and then we'll go to Sam's Club again. And there was another one up there. I'm not buying food for, 9 days, I'm only buying half of it. Like we all did our own breakfast. We all bought stuff for our own lunches, dinners. There were a couple times where I found they have these really delicious, they're a little more expensive, but they're beef tips. They're so good. They were $15 a pack. We actually went to Sam's Club today when we got home because our house was empty of food, and they've gone up to 18. We're really sad. But before that, they were only $15 for a pack. You take this thing and you can throw it in the microwave, you can do it in the oven. Fed 10 people. I had my family of 6, my 4 in-laws. So that fed us, and we had some leftovers. And so I think I figured out that was about $40. So that's $4 a person for a really, really yummy dinner with like beef tips. Anyway, so that was one meal. We did tacos one night, which was super easy, you know, just buy ground beef, buy some toppings. Everybody can make their own thing. And that was really good and yummy. And, you know, that's pretty cheap too. And then the other meal I did that ended up being like dollars a person, like so cheap. So this is the other one I did. There's this Mexican place near us that my kids and I, well, my family, my husband too, we love going to this Mexican place. And so a lot of times we'll order a platter and just share. Like we'll order 2 or 3 platters between us, and my whole family can eat at this Mexican place for like $25. Like it's super affordable because they give you huge portions. But there's this one meal that we love, and the chicken is amazing. I don't even know how they make it so delicious. I have to figure this out, but it's chicken in this queso sauce, and they put it over Spanish rice. I think they have peppers and onions in it too. It is so good. Anyway, so we're planning our things for the trip, our meals, and I was like, why don't we try to make that? Because I bet it would be super easy and cheap. So when we were at Sam's Club, I bought 2 rotisserie chickens, $5 a piece. I ended up only using 1. So $5 for this one rotisserie chicken. The other one we actually ended up bringing it home. So 1 rotisserie chicken that fed 10 people, 9 people, because my sister-in-law had flown home at this point. We actually went to Walmart because some stuff at Sam's Club is too big. So you might need to take a stop at a Walmart or a grocery store to get like some of the smaller things. You don't have like this much rice or whatever. So I got these little packs of Spanish rice that's already seasoned. And it was kind of mind-blowing because I didn't know that was a thing. Like I always just make jasmine rice, or I make my own rice, whatever I have, but I've never bought pre-seasoned rice. I don't know. Welcome to the world, I guess, Toni. But it was amazing, and it was so easy. So I bought 2 packs of the Spanish rice. It was like $2.20 a piece or something. And then at Sam's Club, I bought a big pack of peppers, colorful, different color peppers, and a huge bag of onions. So we didn't use all the onions. I brought a bunch of those home, but I sauteed onions, peppers, cut all the chicken off the bone, and then bought a thing of queso, dumped half of that in there, and mixed it all together, and it was delicious. It tasted like the restaurant. Like it was pretty close to the restaurant. So I was really excited about that. And that one did not cost much. Like the queso was like $4, but we only used half of it. So it's like $2 worth of queso, $5 chicken, so we're at $7. The rice was like $5 maybe together, $12. And then was there anything else? Oh, the peppers and onions, but I didn't use all of them in the pack. So, I mean, we're talking like $15, $16 that fed 9 people. That was amazing. So I'm not gonna tell you every recipe and everything that we made, but we felt better. We weren't eating out all the time because I was feeding my family good things, and I made sure they were things that were easy to cook and fun to eat. I mean, I don't like peanut butter and jelly. I'll eat it once, a couple times a year, but it's not my thing. So anyway, you can still make it fun and delicious and not and pretty low maintenance. And that was the thing. We also ordered pizza once. We also went to a super expensive, all the seafood places down there are expensive, but that's something you have to do. So that's the nice thing. If you can save money on your daily food by going to Sam's Club or by making stuff from scratch, then you have the money to go to some place like the seafood buffet. I'll put a picture here of my kids in it. It's like the inside is like a ship, and then in the ship is all the food, and it was delicious. It's so expensive, but it was they're all the food places down there are expensive. But we're like, do you go order like one thing somewhere and spend $25, or do you spend double and you get all you can eat, and then you can try everything they have? So we had budgeted for that, and that's something you just need to do is, you know, when you plan for a vacation, make sure you budget for it, save for quite a few months. You know, we tried to be careful eating out and stuff like that and not wasting money few months before that so that we were able to really enjoy the trip. So that was huge, but it was delicious to be able to eat that. Oh, that buffet was so good. Crab legs, all you can eat crab legs. Oh, it was so good. Dipped in butter, oh my word. Anyway, so that was the food part. I have one more tip. Now that you guys are starving, I'm starving now that I'm talking about all that stuff. The last tip is one other huge way that you can waste so much money is going into all the shops and buying memorabilia, because you want, I don't know, you guys may not be like this. My husband doesn't care. He doesn't need, you know, a shirt from everywhere we stay, but I feel like I do, and my kids, they all want something from wherever we stay. Well, like if you want a sweatshirt from Myrtle Beach, it's like $60. I mean, they're expensive. They're so much. Here's the trick. And we learned this when we were out in Utah. I really wanted a Utah sweatshirt, and we were looking at some of the shops and they were so expensive. And I'm like, oh my goodness, do I really, you know, just fork over the money? Well, we went for that place. We went into Walmart, and they had this whole, and I don't know if everybody had, all stores are like this, but they had this whole section of Utah stuff. All these sweatshirts and keychains and blah, 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 all this stuff for like cheap. I mean, I'm saying like the sweatshirts were like $14.99. They may not be as high quality as something you'd get at like a super nice fancy store, but $14 for a sweatshirt versus $60 for a sweatshirt is the way to go. So that's one option, is check your Walmarts near. I didn't even know that was a thing, but like at our Walmart, they have Ohio stuff. So I'm sure a lot of Walmarts have stuff for their state. So I just didn't know that was a thing. I hadn't really thought about it. Another way to even more so save money is thrift stores. My mother-in-law loves to thrift, and I love to thrift, and a couple of my kids love to thrift. So we usually try to thrift when we're out. And we went to a thrift store in Hilton Head, which I will tell you, I judged, and I was like, this place is going to be so expensive, because Hilton Head is like hoity-toity, fancy schmancy. One issue I had with it, if you live in Hilton Head, please explain this to me. Everything was brown, everything. So they have trees, like you're going down the road. If I have a video, I'll put it here. But you're going down the road, there's trees. And the guy that, we went on a dolphin tour, and the guy told us that you're not allowed to cut down trees there. So that's why there's so many trees. The trees are beautiful, but like to the point where you can't see anything. Like there's no like, oh, there's the ocean. Like you can't see anything. So there's trees everywhere. But the stores are all brown with brown lettering. So like a CVS that is red here, you know, in Ohio and everywhere else was brown. Like brown building, brown CVS, brown writing of CVS. Like there was a Five Guys, it was brown and white, brown. McDonald's was brown. It wasn't yellow. It didn't have a yellow M. It had a brown M. Like that was crazy to me. So anyway, it was really hard to see, like between the trees and the brown stuff. I'm like, where do we turn? Like where is everything? So that was a little crazy. So I kind of wanted to find a sweatshirt with a brown rectangle on it, just for myself to laugh about Hilton Head. But we loved Hilton Head. So if you are from there, absolutely loved it. It was amazing. The beaches were amazing. It was amazing. We had amazing seafood at this little like hole in the wall place. That was absolutely delicious. It was just brown. I think part of me thinks that the brownness was so they weren't like cheapy looking, like North Myrtle Beach is like, looks like a carnival kind of, where this was really like nice looking. I mean, it just like looks like a really nice, well taken care of place. So I don't know if that's it, or they're just trying to like be one with nature. I don't know. But anyway, it was nice. It was just really hard to find stuff when I'm like, what? But we went to their thrift store. I'm like, this is gonna be expensive. I mean, these people have money. This is a really nice place. It's gonna be expensive. This thrift store was so cheap. I was blown away, totally shocked, and wanted to buy everything. I bought a couple random things. I found a Hilton Head t-shirt. I should have just put it on for this, but I didn't. You'll probably see it in one of my other videos. But a Hilton Head long sleeve shirt was $2.49. Their stuff was so cheap. So anyway, a couple of my girls found t-shirts. That's the thing. We're like, instead of going to a surf shop, like we went to the Ron John surf shop, and my daughter wanted a Ron John surf shop t-shirt, and she bought one for $21.99. Like that's really expensive, but she really wanted one, and that's fine. But she also found a Hilton Head t-shirt for $2.49 at the thrift store. So like, check your thrift stores. We went to 2 different thrift stores. One was a Goodwill and one was like, I don't know, some like Catholic Charities thing. But the Catholic Charity one was super cheap. But the Goodwill one was really cheap too. So even just for regular clothes, like we have fun shopping, just thrift shopping for the most part, like when we're just checking out stuff when we're out and about. I have a video, I'll put it above. If you didn't see it, this was the only video I did, which was thrifting across the US. And I talked about like experiencing, I think we went to a thrift store in most of the states that we visited. And that was really cool just to see how different things were. Check your thrift stores because the people that live there, you know, have a Hilton Head t-shirt and they don't need it anymore, blah, 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 it doesn't fit and they give it away and then you buy it for $2.49, yay. So anyway, that was very exciting. Those are my 3 top easy tips. Go with family. Shop at Sam's Club and buy your food there in bulk. Go to thrift stores in the area and see if you can find stuff there because that is, all those things are just gonna help cut down your costs a lot. Now, here's my goal. Next time I make a video like this, after our next vacation, I'm gonna figure out how to save even more money because it's still, vacation's expensive. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, we didn't spend much of anything on our trip. It was still expensive, but it was so much cheaper than it could have been in some ways. But I wanna keep getting better at this and figure out how can we do this even cheaper next time, but still really enjoy it. Like my husband does a good job at budgeting for the trip by cutting out beforehand so that he can just be like when we went to the Ron John thrift shop, he was like, here, each of you kids, you have a $25 budget, go inside and buy what you want. So like there's a lot of times at home where we're thrifty, we don't buy a whole lot of stuff or we just buy cheap stuff from the thrift store. There's times where we splurge like that and it's just fun. So it's nice to be able to do that. If you balance it out, you can do stuff like that. You can splurge on the all-you-can-eat seafood restaurant or splurge on one of the surf shops if you were cheap in other ways. So anyway, I hope this helped you. I had a really fun trip. It was really nice. It was so refreshing to get away. It was such nice weather, warm water. It was amazing. I think we only got 1 jellyfish sting. My mother-in-law got, I think, stabbed by a stingray in her foot. And was that it? I think that was it. No major sunburns, no major, it was great. So we feel very blessed. Nobody broke their foot. Woohoo, we did it. So anyway, I just thought I'd share these tips with you guys. And I hope if you go on a vacation, you can maybe use these to try to save a little bit of money here and there and hopefully enjoy it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And just thanks for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.